Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gendera. I'm Gerwin, and guess what? It's story time. And today we're going to be reading The Echidnas on Everest. It's another one of the Lost Sheep collection. And this one, I do love these Lost Sheep books because they've actually got some great questions in the back of the book to help you actually go through stuff with kids. So, questions to ask. Do your friends ever do anything that annoys you? Do you ever do anything that annoys your friends? Okay, now I'm going to tell you a story about 3 friends. So the echidnas on Everest. They look like they're having fun, don't they? Echidnas on Everest by Andrew Donoghue. This is an echidna. That's an echidna. Echidnas come from Australia. Ooh, just like kangaroos, echidnas come from Australia. They eat ants. You see them eating the ants? Lay eggs. We're not joking, it's true. Echidnas do, they lay eggs. Are very, very spiky. And they're mammals, which is a little bit interesting. Marsupials. Anyway, like a platypus, a unique animal just for Australia. And echidnas love mountain climbing. That part's poetic license. So real echidnas don't really like doing that. And the greatest of all mountain is Emma, Errol and Edith, echidna. This is their story, and it begins at the base camp of Mount Everest. So they're at base camp at Mount Everest. I wonder what's going to happen. Come on, team, yelled Errol as he ran across the glacier and charged up a tower of ice. This is living, cried Emma as she leapt over the crevice. Oh, I don't think I want to leap over a crevice. What about you? Do you want to leap over a crevice? There's a big gap there, isn't it? She jumped there over to there. She looks a bit nervous. Up he is, up on the mountain. Stop, said Edith. We're not climbing some anthill. This is Mount Everest, the highest, the greatest, the most dangerous mountain in the world. If we're going to succeed, we must stick together. So there's no running off ahead. You got to work together as a team. And the other 2 are running off on their own, aren't they? Over the glacier and up the ridge climbed the echidnas when suddenly... There they go. Maybe if I turn the book that way, it looks a little bit easier. No, they were going up the hill. Up the hill they were. Up, up, up. An icy cold snowstorm swept across the mountain. We're going to freeze to death, shivered Emma. You're on your own. I'm going alone, yelled Errol as he charged up the mountain. That looks like a pretty cold snowstorm. What's going to happen? Stop, said Edith. If we're going to survive, we must stick together. Quick, into this little red tent. So the 3 echidnas scrambled out of the storm and into the little red tent. Ooh, I wonder what's going to happen in the little red tent. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen? Let's check it out. Now, you probably think that the echidnas are snuggled up drinking hot chocolate and singing camp songs. Let's look inside and see. What do you think? Do you think they're snuggled inside, singing camp songs and drinking hot chocolate? Maybe they could be. What do you think? Ow! Ah! Ow! You almost killed me with your spikes, cried Emma. You spiked me first, yelled Errol. I'm out of here. Stop! said Edith. Of course we're spiking each other. We're echidnas. But if we're going to survive, we must stick together. So Errol, Edith and Emma got as comfortable as possible and drifted off to sleep. Ow! Eee! Ah! Oh dear. They're a bit spiky, aren't they? I think they're getting on each other's nerves. They really need to work together, don't they? Anyway, let's see what happens next. The next morning was perfect for climbing. Come on, team, yelled Errol as they shoveled snow off the tent. This is living, cried Emma as she gazed across the mountain. Can you see her gazing across the mountain? As Errol digs them out. You're working together nicely. Stick together, said Edith. You never know. We may run into a... What do you think they're going to run into? Yeti! Do you know what a Yeti is? If you do, you can skip the next bit. If you not, and you plan to visit the Himalayas on your next holiday, pay careful attention. Ooh, what's going to happen? Oh, no, what's going to happen? This is a Yeti. So that's a Yeti. A Yeti comes from Nepal. It's a long way from Australia. They do not lay eggs. So they don't lay eggs. Not like echidnas. And are soft and fluffy. Soft and fluffy. And Yetis eat echidnas. Oh. And anything else as long as it isn't red. Quick, yelled Edith, into the little red tent. You see them? That Yeti looks like he's hungry. And look, Edith, Errol and Emma are all running into the red tent. You probably think the echidnas are sitting inside the tent eating marshmallows and telling Yeti jokes. Like, why did the Yeti cross the road? Let's peek inside and see. That Yeti looks like he's been stopped in his tracks by that red tent, doesn't he? Having a red tent is definitely a good idea if you're going to climb Mount Everest and you're an echidna. Which I'm pretty sure none of you are. Ow! Ee! Ah! You're spiking me to death, you spiky head! Well, I'm out of here, you spiky bum. Shouldn't use words like that. Stop, said Edith. Of course, we've all got spiky heads and spiky bottoms. We're echidnas. But if we're going to survive, if we're going to climb Mount Everest, we must stick together. Must stick together. Errol looks quite cranky, doesn't he? And the girls look like they're hurting. Ouch, ouch, ouch. The next morning, the Yeti was gone. Can you see the Yeti tracks? Oh, dear. This is living, cried Emma as she swung onto the ledge. Come on, team, yelled Errol as he fed out more rope. Up they go. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Up, up climbed the echidnas until there, above the clouds, the summit of Mount Everest appeared. Can you see it? Can you see the summit? The summit's the top of the mountain. Look at the echidnas. They look pretty excited, don't they? Lots of clouds there, though. What's going to happen? The clouds parted, and standing before them, just below the summit, was a great, smooth cliff. Errol looked at Edith. Edith looked at Emma, and Emma looked at Errol. The great smooth cliff, where no hand could hold, nor claw could cling. It's a very smooth cliff, isn't it? It's very smooth. dear, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Ow! Said Emma as she leaned against the cliff and Errol stood on her head. Eee! Said Errol as Edith climbed up onto his shoulders. Ah! Said Edith as she stretched towards the top of the great smooth cliff and grasped a tiny claw hold. She found a tiny claw hold. Oh, I wouldn't want to stand on an echidna's shoulders, would you? I wouldn't. We did it! Yelled Errol. This is living, cried Emma. We may be spiky, said Edith, but we stuck together. We are the echidnas of Everest. Yay! Okay, so now that we've finished the book, we've got some questions to ask, because they've got the questions at the back of the book. I love these questions. So, what were the problems that the echidnas faced? Do you remember? Why did the echidnas need to make sure they reached the top of Mount Everest? You know what? We're all a bit spiky. Friends, brothers, sisters, mums, dads sometimes annoy each other. But even though we're spiky, if we're going to succeed, we need to stick together. Is there a particular relationship that you find really hard? What I find is helps is if I pray for that person. So each night before I go to bed, if there's somebody that I really, really struggle to get along with, I'll pray for that person and ask God to bless them. So I hope you found this helpful. But we've got to do the best part of the entire book. At least that's what my boys say. We've got to look down the bottom at the little cartoons. So what does that one say? That one says, guess what? I saw an echidna. Don't be silly. There's no such thing as echidnas. Is there such thing as echidnas? Yes, there are. They come from Australia and eat ants. And I suppose they lay eggs too. They do, don't they? Of course they lay eggs. Oh, of course. Of course they lay eggs. Sorry, that's a bit blurry. If I can focus in on a bit better. No, I just have to read it. And they're pretty sneaky. Ah! Ah! Ah, it's all around. And the next book in the series is The Sower and the Seed. I'll have to read that one next time. Have a great day. Bless you.